All right, here we go. In this week's lesson, we're going to take all the skills that you learned last week in drone deploy. And you're going to use drone deploy to go out and do a mission. You're going to fly an orthomosaic mission. We're going to have you go out to the RSU soccer field. Or if you're not close to campus, go to any soccer field, football field, baseball field. Typically, those work well for us because we can find them abandoned at some point during the day where they're not in use, and we can fly over them without having to fly over people or get in too much trouble with people wondering what we're doing. So on campus, you can pick a time when the soccer field's empty. Seems to be a lot of the time it's pretty empty. Or a baseball field. Remember, you got schools you can go to, a track. We're looking for an athletic field that's relatively flat. That's what we want to start with. So this is going to be setting up the drone deploy, go out and fly your mission, get your images, and now that you have your images in hand, you're going to do the stitching portion. You're going to take all the images that you took and create something. So let me give you an example. And that's what this week's lesson is. So here's an example of I think this one is about 150 or 200 feet, gimbal at 90 degrees, and you see there's quite a few images here that were taken, and they really, as one image, aren't anything, but collectively together, they're going to make something like this. And so if you look real closely, you can see the image where I'm highlighting it. And if you'll notice that these roads don't line up real well. So that's what you get. That's about the accuracy that you're going to get using the drones that you guys have. Later on in the semester, we'll talk a little bit more about RTK and PPK and other CORS data that we get from NOAA that we can use to help correct those images, to help make them more accurate. So these are the spaces on the planet that each image was taken, and this is kind of as close as it was. So when that camera took that picture and it thought that this curb here was there in space, it's actually here. So you can see how that's off, and that's would have been probably way up here if you had used an iPhone, for example. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. You're going to jump over to PIX4D. PIX4D is a very robust program. This company has tons and tons and tons of different software packages for a bunch of different things. What we're going to go for is the PIX4D Cloud. And the reason why I chose PIX4D Cloud is because it is a cloud-based map processing system. So otherwise you would have to have a lot of room on your laptops, and most laptops don't have the space to accommodate the program and then have enough scratch memory left to process all these images. And it would just take forever. So using a cloud-based platform helps us use someone else's computer to get the work done. Okay? Does that make sense? So we are going to, let's go ahead and jump in real quick and explore some of the demo projects. So when you first log on, this is when you first get there, you're going to see this information. And let me actually log out. That might help. So when you get to the PIX4D Cloud, you're going to click Start a Free Trial, and you're going to click Sign Up. Since I've already signed up, I'm going to hit Log In and jump in here to this page. Now I'm going to come up here and back click here on Demos, just so you have a chance to see what's happening here. This is what it's going to look like when you produce something. So let's take a look here at this ditch. This ditch was designed for 3D texture modeling only. This was designed so that someone could view, and I don't know what the reason is, whether there's something they're excavating and they're looking, whoops, they're looking for something here, or if someone's just demonstrating, let's get this back over here, and maybe someone is just demonstrating that they actually do have trench safety installed. Okay. But either way, this is one of the images, types of images you'll see. Let me go back to, oops, let me go back home. All right, so now I want to show you, I don't know why this is playing games with me. We're going to look at how to upload your files. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to put new and new site. And I'm just going to put new test site. Whoop. It's going to be there. Create my site. And we're going to click here, add data set. Well, let me go back. Maybe I didn't show you. Right here, add data set. We're going to upload images, which is the first tab here. We're going to click next. We're going to select images from the folder that we have the images stored. We think they're here. Now, one of the things you want to notice is every time that you go out and fly a mission that's an orthomosaic map, before the drone takes off, it's going to take a picture sitting on the ground. We do not want to include that picture in this data set. So we can start on the second one. Whoops, we're going to hold the shift button down. We're going to go all the way over the right. We're going to pick up all of the images, and we can actually either keep in the control button, go one arrow to the left and take it away. You can hold control and left click on the mouse and take it away. Or you could do control all and then control left click on the mouse, control left click on the mouse, get rid of those. And either way, a bunch of different ways to grab the files. Click open. Now that you've got them open, you're going to click next. Now in here, there's 4 different types of packages that you could ask for. The 3D maps are going to give you 3D maps that are both 3D and 2D. It's got a digital surface model. It's got your orthomosaic, which is what we're doing this week. It's got the 3D mesh. It has the point cloud for knowing where all of the images were taken. That's the one I want you to select, is 3D maps. 2D map just drops the 2D, and 3D is just the 3D, and then this is for agricultural stuff. We might get into multispectral later, but we don't have that kind of equipment for everyone to use. So anyways, 3D mapping and the quality button is who you want to pick. Rapid is just like a rough draft and not really worth your time. You're going to click quality, and you're going to click next. And you're going to skip this. This is a part where we can enter ground control points, which we don't have on this mission. But these are points that we lay these big squares out. They're like 4 foot by 4 foot square, and we put them in known GPS locations. So this helps correct those differences that I showed you in the misaligned streets. And unless you're using that image for surveying, then none of this really matters that it's off. Your images is all that the customer wants. You're going to hit skip and process. And then it's going to upload all of your stuff into the cloud, and it's going to start its process. Okay, I'm going to skip out of that one. So here's one of the exact same images I already did. And you look here. Here is the image that we took. And lots of stuff you can do in here. If you take a look, boy, that one's got it pretty close, doesn't it? Let's see if we can add this layer in here. So the map that they have is actually before this was built. So that's kind of frustrating. But you come down here, let's look at the road. You can see these images were at the end of the flight. They weren't really intended to be part of the mission. And you see that they're just kind of fuzzy. They're really off. Let's see if we can see the difference over here. Here we go. Again, the sidewalk's in the middle of the street, okay? So we're about 10 feet off, 6 feet off, something like that. Anyways, this is the image that you created. This is the image that you got from all of those files. And this is what you're going to turn in for your class assignment. So let me show you the best way to do that. I want you to come up here, upper right-hand corner to share. And you're going to get this link. And you're going to copy this link. Actually, I should be able to, there we go. You gotta make sure you switch this on. Anyone with the link can view and measure. Anyone with the link can edit and save. So let's just do the top one here. Either one's fine. You're gonna hit copy, and then you're gonna go into your assignment, and you're gonna paste that link into the essay question that asks you for the link to your PIX4D orthomosaic image. And then you're also going to go to File and Export and Download. So again, up here at the top right, File and Export, Download. And I want you to export the quality report. Click and choose PDF and download. And then I want you to also come back and come down here to outputs. Go ahead on outputs. I want you to grab orthomosaic. Leave everything as it is here. Let's do a TIFF file. And then you're going to want to download that as well. Now you're going to come over here to digital surface model. And you're going to click on it. And I think that's all we're going to look at. So we're going to take the orthomosaic, the digital surface model, and the quality report. You'll download those. So let's go ahead and put those in a folder. Let's put that in the other folder. Perfect. I'm going to give that a second to load before I go back. So let's just recap. Once you've made your image, now what I didn't show you before was when you hit that final upload and started uploading your pictures, at that point it's going to go on its own. It's going to go on its own and process. Keep it up. See the process tab. It's going to process in the background. It may take an hour or two for it to process. It should send you an email. It should send you an email that says that you received it. If not, you're just going to go back to it a couple hours later, find that it's there, and that's when you're going to come up here and share. Anyone, copy, paste it into the question, and then file, download, quality report, orthomosaic, digital surface model, and download. All right? So let's look at the digital surface model. Let's get rid of orthomosaic. And so now we're looking at the digital surface model. And this is just showing the same information, but using color to show the difference in altitude. That's all that's really showing. All right, let's see if we can't give this one. Let's get rid of digital surface model, use orthomosaic. So if you come down here at the bottom and click 3D, now this image was not taken for 3D purposes, but there's still some 3D elements to it. And I wanted to show it to you because as you look at it, you can see there's some spots here that are missing. And if you were actually going to create a digital surface model, you would take it with some additional camera images. Most of the camera images were all taken on this one looking straight down like this, but you would also take them more of an angle as you see it now if you were trying to get the full 3D rendering. Okay, let's see if we can get... So let me show you on... I'll get rid of the point cloud. It makes it a little bit easier to see. When we look at the point cloud, these are the points. They're showing... It's an overlay showing where everything was taken, where all the images were taken. And I'm just going to get rid of that so you can see this clearer image. So you can see how some of this stuff here doesn't have a whole lot of, doesn't have all of the definition. You see how some of this is like Play-Doh? If we would have, these because most of the images or all of the images were taken, look how good the detail is on top. Because this is all 90-degree images. As soon as we come to the side, right, everything's kind of jacked up. So again, we'll go back, and if we're going to go back and fly this for 3D rendering, our camera's going to be, our gimbal camera is going to be angled kind of like this. So that way we pick all of this up and the top, and it gives us a better 3D image. This is still good enough image to use for measuring. We could probably still measure these stockpiles. None the same. So that's pretty good. Well, let's jump back out here to 2D. Let's go ahead and call that all we're going to talk about there in that section. And I'm going to pop in one more time. I'm just at this point now. I'm just giving you, while that other stuff is downloading, I'm just giving you a real quick, brief introduction to some of the things we'll cover later on in the chapter. But for now, let's go to this image, and let's actually take this. We can take this to a surface model in a different program that has a different color palette. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to see the definition and the change in altitude. You can see the difference between the tree and the curb. This helps us a lot, especially if we're trying to look at water runoff, where the water's running, where's the higher to the lower. This is kind of how that helps us see which way the water's moving and doing what. So you can see here, because of the coloring, that this is a higher ground and all of the water is basically running down to here. So it just gives you a little bit of insight to what's happening. And then I'll show you one last piece of information. Let's just go back to the dashboard real quick and pick up. And then we can jump into the 3D model version of it. And so in this program here, it helps, you can help see where we can use all of the different measuring devices to go in and measure. We can measure the road, we can measure the stockpiles, and I think there was a great example of that. Back here in the front. Let's see if I can get back to demos. Let's go in and look at this one. So using some of those tools that I just showed you on the other map. Let's go into 3D. We can use those tools to make measurements. So in this quarry, someone has gone in and put these measurements here, and that means something to someone. May not mean anything to us, but they use these measurements to make calculations on whatever they're looking for, whether they're looking for, can I get equipment in there? How do I get things out of there? How much material do we take out? How much is still left? I'm not sure what questions that they're trying to answer, but know that that's what we do when we jump into programs like this, is we use special tools to help create information that we want, right? So at this point, this is just distances, and we can keep creating as many pieces that we want, or we can leave them there. So whatever it is that we're looking for, this helps us get that information. We'll get in depth in that a little bit more, but let's finish up this video with a quick tour over here to our deliverables. So when we get our deliverables, let's look at this report here. So when we get our quality report will come in with all of the data from that image. It'll come in with the two different pieces of information that we asked to put on there. And then you'll see this is the overlay of all of the camera shots that we took. So a lot of good information here. You want to scroll through that, but that's what you're going to upload into your class assignment. And then also, whoops, where did we go? Also, if you look here, you'll get this TIFF file. This is the TIFF file, and I just uploaded one for an example that I pulled out of there. This is a TIFF file, so when you go in to turn in your last piece of assignment, you're going to take the quality report and you're going to take your orthomosaic. Now you're going to want to do those those are actually two different downloads. So I'm going to go, this is the last time, I'm going to go over it for you. I know I'm driving you crazy, but let me just jump right back in here. And I think I lost it. Where did my PIX4D cloud go? When you come in here to your stuff, upper right hand corner, files, download, orthomosaic, TIFF, download. That's one file that's going to give you your image. The second one that you're doing is file and download. And now we're going to go in and we're going to look at the quality report. And we want it in PDF. And we want the orthomosaic. And we want the digital surface model. And then we're going to click download. I'm going to put it in the same one again, but that's okay. Let's just name it something crazy. So now when you go in, you've already gone to your first essay question, which is send me a link. I showed you how to get that. Then your next essay question will say send me your TIFF file, your orthomosaic. Okay, that's this one here that we just downloaded. And then you're also going to put in your quality report. That's this one here that has all your information. Okay, that's how you take your images, process them in PIX4D, and then turn them into a deliverable product for your customer. That's your assignment for the week, and I look forward to seeing the results of your hard work.